Thank you, Andre. And now we need
Thank
to
you.
move forward to our next speaker. And before that, before introducing him, I want to remind you, everybody, that we have a possibility to send questions to our chat. And all the panelists will be quite happy to answer them. So our next speaker is Anton Pushkov. He is a managing partner of IP Center Skolkovo. And what is important, Nadezhda already mentioned that it is not very cheap to patent in the United States and to litigate there. And Andrei told us it's better to go there using the United States patent attorneys. We do understand that it is not the cheapest guys in the world, but they was those money they asking for. So, and Anton will share us secrets, I would say, different features, how you can save your money and use the governmental support from the Russian Federation. So, Anton.
Yeah, thank you, Dmitry. Hello, everybody. Yes, I will share with you some hints and tricks in order for you to be able to reduce the costs related to foreign patent filings. And let me start with my slides. Here it is. Okay. So all of you know, I think, that Skolkovo is an innovation center, the largest innovation center based in Russia. It's very close to Moscow, just 5 kilometers from MKAD, which is the circular road around Moscow. We're based in a very nice place. It's 450 hectares here. So please be our guests after quarantine and pandemic is over. Please come here to Skolkovo to see what is happening here. We're in the middle of construction area here with laboratories, office premises of high-tech companies, and even University Skoltech, which is a partner of MIT, is also based here in Skolkovo. What is good about Skolkovo Innovation Center is that we have more than 2,400 startups. So you can see here the screen with the page from our website. You can go there, it's sk.ru, and you can find information about these startups. And the reason why people come to Skolkovo is not just because they obtain grants and financing, and I will tell about that in a minute, but mainly because Innovation Center supports your growth. So if your project is somehow related to science and high tech, and we have different areas, we support different areas of science and technology, from information technology to biomed, pharmaceutical, energy efficiency, space, nuclear, agriculture, then you can go to our website, as I said, sk.ru, and file your project for review, completely free of charge. And if you pass examination, then your project will obtain a status of Skolkovo resident. And it's not only for Russian companies. We do have many 100% of subsidiaries of foreign companies which do set up company here in Russia, and they also receive the status of Skolkovo resident. So you file your application. You can do it in Russian or in English. Then it goes through the examination. Examination process is something which is completely transparent and independent. A computer randomly selects experts. We do have 2,000 experts on the panel. They are randomly selected. Half of them are foreigners, and they rank your project. They answer some simple questions about it. They review your papers, and they say yes or not if you can get a status or not. But our topic today is about patent filings. So once you receive the status of Skolkovo resident, you can easily obtain grants for patent filings, not only in Russia, but abroad. When I say easily, it's just because you can do it on the basis of documents. So you submit documents, and within 20 business days, you will get a decision. And you can choose the way of financing. Is it like a compensation or prepaid grants? So compensation means that you already paid for your patent filings, you already paid for your intellectual property, and then you just want to get compensation from Skolkovo as an innovation center for all what you already for all what you've done. And prepaid means that you can first file documents and explain that you need, for example, filing to US Patent Office, and then Skolkovo Foundation will pay for you, and you will go forward with your patent filing. What is important is that Skolkovo Innovation Center is not taking any part of shares in your shareholding structure. So Skolkovo is not taking any shares in your equity capital of your project, of your company, and Skolkovo is not taking any intellectual property royalties or any other encumbrances or securities over your assets. No, not at all. So it's the whole story about Skolkovo is that Russian government is trying to support the whole innovation here, just for more companies to come here, for more people to be involved, and that's actually the reason why patent filings, and why actually the Innovation Center also supports all filings and supports startups which come here. What is the amount of financing available for Skolkovo residents? Up to 4 million rubles, which I think currently stands roughly to 65,000 US dollars each calendar year. So you can get up to 4 million rubles each calendar year. And in each application, your amount, the sum with the amount which you want to get compensated should not exceed 1.5 million rubles. And what is important is that you need to proceed with compensation within six months after you made your payments. So you paid for US patent attorney, you paid US patent office fees, then within 6 months you should submit documents and get your compensation. 100% compensation of all your patent filings for the first 12 years after you receive Skolkovo resident status. And it is better to plan your costs so that you can get your compensation up to the end of the year. So by 31st of December, you will definitely need to submit all the documents. And then you just proceed with a very easy and straightforward report. When you submit your documents for grant financing, what is important is that you would need to set up a Russian company. So for Skolkovo resident, it is important to have a legal entity here in Russia. And commonly used entity is so-called LLC, a limited liability company, or limited or private company limited by shares. In Russia, the name of such company is like ООО, Общество с ограниченной ответственностью. And right now, you know that you can set up such company remotely. So we now have this option with the tax office. You can do it easily, and we also support foreigners who pass the review of their projects to become a Skolkovo resident, and then we support them in setting up such LLCs, like 100% Russian subsidiary, which become a Skolkovo resident, and will also get the support from the government, also in relation to patent filings as well. So these are criteria for the company to obtain a microgrant. Skolkovo startup from 3 to 50 employees, fully employed under employment contracts. Your revenue for the previous financial year should not exceed 50 million rubles. And if your microgrant, if you apply for microgrant, which is less than 100,000 rubles, then it's up to 10 million rubles per year. And you don't have any opened or disputed or any issues in relation to any litigations or any blacklists or anything which is still pending, so that your application is fine and we can proceed with grant financing. So what are the services, the intellectual property related, which actually can be compensated or prepared if you are a Skolkovo resident? So here you see the list. It's not the full list, just some examples, extract from the list. For example, you can file patent application in Rospatent in Russia or Eurasia. For Eurasian patent, you can proceed with patentability searches. You can check patentability or freedom to operate, or you can run all patent searches, FTO searches, not only for Russia, but all over the world. You can hire any patent attorney you like to proceed with this program. So it's up to you as a client, as a Skolkovo resident, as a high-tech company, decide with whom you want to work. There are no any limitations. You can file international PCT applications, and what is good is that the only office of World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, the only office in Eastern Europe is based here in Skolkovo. So initially they opened office in Rospatent, but then after they moved to Skolkovo, just because they want to be closer to innovation infrastructure, and they also develop a special program of so-called technology innovation centers. So these guys are here with us, and we also do many events together, and we file roughly 15% of all Russian PCT applications which go abroad, they go from Skolkovo. So they file from Skolkovo. Also, what is good that related costs like translations, notary fees also covered. And trademarks, national filings and Madrid agreements filings also covered. Maintaining and supporting prosecution of all your filings also covered, also included. And payment of official fees and payment of patent attorneys fees also included in this program. It's not only about intellectual property filing, it's also about some legal services. For example, you would need to set up a company, you want to have structuring of your deal, you want to involve investor or somehow agree on the shareholding structure of your startup, and you need to hire a lawyer. You can also do it. Data protection, if you have any issues with personal data, commercial secrets, and you need some advice here, support, yes, also included. Litigation is also completed, not only in Russia, but abroad, if such litigation is related to protection of those intellectual property objects which are named in your project. So if you came to Skolkovo with, for example, artificial intelligence program and AI, and then you started or somebody filed a lawsuit against you in relation to this AI intellectual property, then yes, we will support your litigation, not only in Russia and abroad, so that you will be able to proceed with your project without any problems and limitations. IP protection, licensing, IP licensing, IP assignment, distributions, all types of contracts related to intellectual property is also covered, and basic due diligence as well. So as I mentioned, the translations and notary fees and some official fees are also included. So how to apply to microgrant financing? If you have any questions, then you can go to the website of Skolkovo, which is sk.ru. And if you have any questions right now, you can send us email, so we'll explain how to proceed with filing all the documents. And the procedure is straightforward and simple. You just need to provide documents. So this is the first part of my presentation in relation to those companies who are or want to become a Skolkovo resident. But for those who are not, another very interesting program, which is currently maintained by Russian Expert Center, is also very useful. So you can go to the website of Russian Expert Center, which is expertcenter.ru. And Russian Expert Center, we work together. We have a partnership agreement So we also assist in getting compensation in this program for exporters. So for those companies who already proceed or plan to proceed with exports outside the territory of Russia. And you can get special financing if you have intellectual property, and this intellectual property directly relates to those products or services which you export outside the territory of Russia. And then you can prepare a set of documents and file it to Russian Export Center. And there's no need for you to be a member of any community or to file any projects like in Skolkovo. So the only requirement here is that you should be an owner or co-owner of intellectual property, and you should proceed with export or plan to proceed with export of your products or services abroad. And it means that within 3 years after you get compensated for your payments, for your costs, you would need to show at least one contract under which you expect to receive a revenue from selling your products or distribution of your services abroad. So you have 3 years period during which you would need to explain that, yes, actually the government for Russian Export Center paid for your IP to be protected abroad, and then you go abroad and you provide your products and services, and you have at least one contract with one user so that you proceed with some sales. And your shareholding structure, the shareholders in your company from those jurisdictions which are blacklisted, there are not so many, but they're blacklisted, then should not exceed 50%. And on the slide, you can see the list of patent filings and services which you can compensate in Russian Export Center program. So what you can get compensation for? So you can 100% get compensation for your patent fees abroad, and up to 70% of your patent attorney's fees. So up to 70% of patent attorney's fees and 100% of official patent fees. And there are some restrictions in relation to your costs. You can see here, for example, preparing of PCT applications should not exceed 50,000 rubles. If you pay more, then you will be compensated only 50,000 rubles. And for US, for example, market, the maximum amount of compensation is 325,000 rubles, which I think currently is a little $5,500 US dollars, I think. So here you can see the number of companies and applications for such compensation for 2017 and 2018, and the sectors of industry and economy and regions. So you can see that Moscow and St. Petersburg companies, they use this program, and it is very good that this program also Ministry of Finance provided financing to Russian Export Center, that this program you can also apply for this type of financing and grants. Here you can see the breakdown of countries where our exporters, company which export products and services, file patent applications and then compensate these costs through this Russian Export Center program. USA is top rated, is #1, and Europe, China, Japan, and Ukraine. So our colleagues from Russian Export Center, they expect more than 150 applications this year. So if you're interested in getting compensation for your patent filings abroad, and if your company is doing it, then probably you are interested in coming to foreign markets and you want to go global, then of course this program might be very convenient for you. Go to Russian Export Center website, and if you have any questions, then please go ahead. We will be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Anton. It was really useful and really interesting, even for me. I never knew that you can compensate such a lot, 4 million rubles.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
I'm not a scientist. I don't have any innovations to protect, but I will definitely recommend it to my clients to go to your center to get such money because we do know, we do understand that they need them. Some inventors are in lack of money, so it is very good that we have such a center there. I've been a couple of times in your center, and I would definitely recommend to go there to everybody. It is really nice, really beautiful outside the Moscow. Actually, at the moment, I'm not very far from your center because I'm not in Moscow. I'm in country house, uh, about 20 kilometers from the Skolkovo along the Minsky rail.
Okay, okay.
And I have a small question because we are in lack of time. We have one more panelist to speak. And the question is about, do you have any restriction concerning the type of technologies? Maybe some types of technologies you are not supporting, for example, pharma or military technologies are forbidden for your grants or not?
Yeah, absolutely. For example, dual military, dual purpose technologies, they are not publicly supported here. You know that in Russia, when you file application and this is considered secret, then there's a special regime for that. So in this particular case, we recommend our companies to go to other institutions like Rostech, for example. Or Rostech is, they have the global network of companies and innovation centers, and they support dual purpose technologies.
Okay, thank you, Casey.
I just have one question, Anton. What is a common thing that a company with a new invention that they may not expect when they first start to think about patenting? Is there something that is commonly they're unprepared for, or maybe a surprise?
Well, in comparison, Russia with US, I think in US we have a very good thing is a provisional patent application. Provisional patent application supports innovation because you can easily file something and then within 1 year submit additional documents. And if you don't do it, your application will not be in public domain, so you would not have any problems with that. In Russia, unfortunately, we don't have it. However, we do have a grace period within 6 months. If our scientists, they publish something, then within 6 months they can file patent application and get it patented. So these are the common issues which they usually don't consider. So they just publish it because they want to publish.
And Anton, what following up the case's questions, what you normally advise to Russian companies to file a national applications in United States, for example, or to go through PCT procedure?
We recommend filing PCT just because you have this 30 months period. And if you're a startup, it's really good to have 2.5 years to choose national jurisdictions where you want to go for a patent. And we recommend to file it in Russian just because technically when you translate it into English, you can correct some minor issues which you can just correct through translations. It's very useful. So because you can file PCT in Russian, because Russian is one of the official languages of WIPO, so we do PCT filing in Russian, then we go forward, we translate it into English. However, if US market is a primary one, then it's, I support Andrei here, you should work closely with US patent attorney. Otherwise, specifics of US market just will make it that you would need to think about it from the very scratch, from the very beginning.
Okay,